Hi folks, welcome to the Man Cave. Hope everybody is keeping well. So on my last video, it's all a little bit rushed. I had to get my KTM M9RR from the Man Cave down to the Triumph dealer and then do the swap and then bring this used 2020 Triumph Speed Twin back to the Man Cave. So yeah, apologies folks, that was a bit of a rushed video. So here we are then a short while later, about 10 days, 2 weeks later, and I've put about 100 miles on the bike or so. So this video is just going to give you a little bit of an update for those of you who are interested in maybe getting a used Triumph Speed Twin or the new one, just to maybe things to look out for. So my bike here, it's the 2020 model. So it's the one with the rubber gaiters on the front there. So it's the Euro 4 engine. It's done 5,000 miles and basically I think it's a great bike. I absolutely love it. It looks so cool, and that's one of the things that attracted me to it. It looks cool when you're going along, and it's cool in the garage. I just love it. Anyway, so I digress. So have I noticed any things with the bike? Yeah, so I did notice when I took the bike out for a bit of a test ride before I sort of said yes, that it did pulse a little bit on the front brake lever, and then I've checked the documentation that came with the bike, and it has had the brake disc change because of the pulsing. And jumping on the forums, yeah, it does seem to be maybe Triumph had a little bit of a bad batch of front discs. But what I have done is I've gone on YouTube, seen how people remedy pulsing of their brakes, and basically taken the Brembo calipers off and the pads out, given everything a really good clean and put it all back. And then I've also, with some Scotch pad, the maroon coloured one, I've cleaned the discs, brake clean, all that kind of stuff. Plenty of stuff on YouTube about it. Pretty much more or less eliminated the pulsing. There's still a tiny bit there from about 15 miles an hour to stopping. And what I might do is either attack it with some green Scotch pad or some sandpaper, and that would be like kind of deglazing the discs. And if I do that, I'll deglaze the pads as well. So, but it's pretty much gone now, so I don't think the discs are warped. Just one of those things. And then just coming back, what else have I noticed? Well, the bike is so small. That's the big thing I've noticed, with a small engine, but it's a big engine, you know, 1200 cc or thereabouts, compared to my, you know, the mighty GS at 1250. But it's a tiny sized engine in comparison to the BM, and I will say it does generate a lot of heat. So yeah, for going around town, you're gonna, and being stationary, I think you're going to notice the sound of the fan coming on an awful lot, but you Triumph owners will know that already actually, so you'll be sat there having a little bit of a giggle with me mentioning that. So yeah, fan comes an awful lot, and it does generate a fair amount of heat, but it's a big engine with absolutely oodles and oodles of torque, so I really like that. Anything else then? Yeah, suspension wise, it's non-adjustable, but I knew that, so we're going to maybe address that as well. And then the other thing, the OEM tyres that are on the bike at the moment, they're the Rosso 3 tyres, 5,000 miles. I think they're pretty much shot. So we're going to ditch those and get something else. But what do I use the bike for? Well, I'm a fair weather rider. I've done all my years of winter riding in my youth, shall we say. So I'm not interested in riding in the wet. And if it's going to be chucking it down with rain, I'm going to be taking the GS out anyway. So this is a fair weather bike for the feel-good factor of basically riding a bike, like the raw bike experience. And for that, I think it's just an absolutely fabulous bit of kit. So what are we going to do then? So I've been on the internet, and I've ordered a few little bits and pieces, and let me just tell you what I've ordered. But before we do that, let me just tell you what the previous one owner has put on the bike. So when he purchased the bike, he sort of put on the ring that goes around the headlight. He's put the radiator cover on there, or protector, the sump guard. He's got the USB connector under the seat, and he put on those really nice Vance and Hines exhaust, and they sound pretty good, I have to say. So that's what is on the bike, and other than that, it's pretty standard. So hammered the internet, seen what other people are doing, and one of my followers has called me a bit of a fiddler, and yeah, I can't help it. I've just got a fiddle. So you know who you are. Thanks very much. I hope everything's going well. And so yeah, so what have I ordered then? So start from the front going back. So I've ordered some new tyres. I've ordered those through a UK company called Demon Tweaks. I'll put the price of them in the description down below, but about 250 quid. I was toying between the Road 6s, which I had previously on the BMW. The BMW's now got the Metzeler Turrets next 2 tyres on there. Really good tyre. I'll do a review on those in a short while. So I have had experience of the Road 6s, but then I thought, I was just about to tick the basket. Yes, I'll have the Road 6s at Demon Tweaks, and I thought, no, am I going to be riding the bike in the wet? Not really, not unless I get caught out in a summer shower. 2, do I want longevity? No, not really, because it's a bit of a toy, and it's a sunny day where they go out and enjoy it. So I actually went for the M9RRs. So that's the Metzeler M9RRs. So a bit of a sporty kind of tyre, but they got good warm up, and they should be okay in the wet if I get caught out. So yeah, I've gone for those from Demon Tweaks. So they should be down in the next week or so. And then I'll whip the wheels off, take them down to my Triumph dealer, get them fitted at their leisure, and then pop them back on. And hopefully that should bring the handling up, and then we'll talk about the suspension. So that's one thing I'm going to be doing, or is in the process of being done. And what else? So very cheaply then, quite a cheap mod on the headstock here, the top yoke there, you've got that chrome nut. So the newer version of the Speed Twin has got the Thruxton top nut, which is like brushed aluminium or something with a few holes around it. So that's a cheap accessory, 15 quid from my local dealer. That's on the way down as well, and that should just tidy that up and just make it look mwah. And then there's a company that I've not heard of actually, but again, just doing the Triumph forums and all that kind of stuff, YouTubing, a company called Tech, T-E-C, in the UK. Never heard of them before. So I've got sort of small hands for a fella, and I've noticed that the front brake lever, even with the span adjusted to its minimum level, I'm still having to have a bit of a reach for the front brake lever. So I've ordered a set of black brake levers and clutch lever for this, and really good value actually, about 50 quid delivered. So can't go wrong with that, absolute bargain. And lots of good comments about those levers as well. So that's TEC, again, description down below. And then the dials, really like the dials, but they are a little bit fussy if I'm being honest. So the Missing Flyer, somebody who I follow on YouTube, and there's other people as well. They've used an Italian company called, let me see what they're called. They're called Arton Works. So they do a new face dial for the Triumph range. So I've gone for the black dials. I think they just look really classy. Some YouTubers have said that in daylight it's hard to read the warning lights, the indicator light coming through, because it's a very dark face dial. So we'll see what that's like when they come down. So they're on order, and I think they were less than 100 quid. Again, I'll put the price in the description down below. So they're on order, and I think that pretty much is it for the time being. And the other thing then is the suspension, but obviously the suspension is non-adjustable. You've got the stupid preload adjusters at the bottom there, which is a bit daft really. So I'm going to see what the bike rides like with the new tyres on it, and then if I need to have a look at the suspension. I've had some good feedback from the last video about suspension, who to go for, etc. But at the moment I'm sort of tipping towards Nitron, so I've sent them off an email about their shocks, so they hopefully will get back to me. So potentially Nitron at the back. They're not the cheapest, got no kids to put through uni, so yeah, don't smoke, don't drink much. Well, I've got loads of bottles of wine over there, loads of bottles of wine over there. So yeah, anyway, yeah, so I might consider the Nitron route with the black shock, and then maybe something on the front. But I think before we get to blowing a lot more cash, I'm just going to put the new tyres on it and then see what it's like. And if I have to change the suspension, I will do. But in the meantime, do all that YouTube kind of stuff. Make any comments in the comments section down below. We'll see you all again soon in the next video. Ride safe, take care, and cheerio for now.